Good afternoon, this is Trey, and in an effort to bring you the best information about buying and building new homes in Boise, Idaho, we're going to do a blog today and just talk about Avimor. This is Tom. He's actually an environmental expert, and so I was overly impressed with his expertise of knowledge about his field and his enthusiasm about what Avimor is producing here. So I wanted to kind of get his insights so that as a, not from the real estate sales guy, right? This is an environmentalist who's excited about Avimor. So, Tom, share with me some of your, I guess first it would be the scientific perspective of Avimor, and how you see this place.
One of the things about Avimor that impressed me the most is the fact that they've got this new urban development concept here, placed in a rural setting, where you cluster the development of homes, and then that is offset by all of this open space in between these development clusters.
Okay. So when you say the smallest footprint possible, tell me some of the characteristics of that.
Whenever you have a large, dense subdivision where you have row after row of house that goes on and on and on, you have excluded the natural environment.
Right.
There's no way around that. You know, you can put lipstick on that pig, but it's still a pig. Whereas when you've got this new urban concept, especially when you've got mixed developments, you've got business mixed in with housing, and then you have large areas of open space, you can still have wildlife. You can have raptors, you can have songbirds, you can have
mice, everything.
You have everything. You have a little bit of all the problems that you would have living in a farm environment. But it's pleasant. It's easy to see the native grasslands, and then you've shrub steppe grasslands. It's wonderful to be able to hear the owls call at night, and you know that the population of these birds are doing just fine. There's a riparian area that's protected. You have the foothill environment up here that are still protected. You have the nesting and breeding birds in those environments. It's pleasant. And not only is it pleasant, but environmentally it makes sense. Now you're going to have some decrease in these numbers. There's no way around that.
Right.
But you're going to have a sustainable population of those species. You have to have housing for humans on this planet. This is an excellent way to minimize the impact to the natural.
So tell me, of all the things we've talked about, what is one thing that Avimor did right and impressed you the most?
Well, I like the idea of community. Two things impressed me the most. One is this new urban planning to lower your footprint on the environment.
Okay.
But the other part is that with your cluster development, and if you have businesses here, it gives you a sense of community. Now, Avimor is just developing now, and you haven't got that full sense of community yet. But I know that it will. The concept is sound. And once you get a higher development ratio in these clusters, you get more of a community feel. People know their neighbors, and you see them on the street, and you talk to them. Neat.
Totally, we appreciate that. Last words as an environmentalist about Avimor, and we've talked about nature, we've talked about trails a little bit. Anything else from your perspective as a development and environmentalist that just appealed to you in terms of you actually considering this a place to live?
Well, one of the things that they had in their conservation plan, and by the way, they were required to get a conservation plan, and they have a conservation director. That in itself impressed me. And but one of the things they had in there was a no net loss of native grassland habitat.
Okay.
Most of this grassland here has been overtaken with exotic annuals in the last 100 years. Well, what they are doing is that whenever they have a housing development that impacts these native grasslands, then they will improve the degraded grasslands from these exotic annuals and make them come into a natural grassland environment. So as a result, even though you're having a housing development here, you have no net loss of native grasslands because they've been improved.